What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Walking Blind Podcast. This is episode 72 of the show where we like to normalize checking in on the homies. I'm Mike, and the other Mike is in the future. He's in a completely different. He's in Australia, so he's down under. He's way ahead of me time wise. But check it out. This week's episode, we got to sit down with our boy Sean Mott. Sean is the host of the Metalcore Nerds podcast. Also, happens to be a sick-ass guitar player, happens to be a sick-ass bass player, happens to be a sick-ass human being all around, and we love him. We got to spend some time with him. He actually did an episode of Metalcore Nerds right here in our studio, and then just because of time constraints and issues with logistics and driving back and forth and shows and weekend, it was all over the place. So we got to do our episode with him through Zoom, through the normal Metalcore Nerds formats. We got to kind of trade places, but it was dope. It was sick. So make sure you guys stick around, check it out. Episode 72 with our boy Sean Mott. We will be back soon. See, I can't even talk. Even when I'm in the room by myself, I can't talk, and I just tend to ramble. This is kind of one of those things. So we love you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Please check out episode 72 right now.
Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals. They're about to make that very clear.
Sean Mott, hello. Thank you for being on our podcast now.
I love that we're kind of just I love that we're kind of just switching formats here. We're like, okay, like we had Sean here in studio, and then now we're gonna go on the Zoom call or the video call thing, so
yeah, it's funny. It's kind of ironic a little bit.
Yeah, you were literally right here.
Yeah, like
I know
2 days ago. The timing of it just kind of didn't work out for us, but that's just because we can kind of talk about it now. You were here filling in with the NBR boys, playing some bass, shredding the old 4-string and getting the headbangs in. I'm kind of curious, like what that was, what that was like on your side. Like, what was the perspective on that? And
it was pretty incredible, honestly. I've been listening to Cycles since it came out, so the fact that I got to play like the 10-year anniversary shows was sick. It was really cool. It meant a lot to me. I didn't want to totally fanboy out to like Mike and Martin about it, but I tried to express my gratitude for being able to do it. But it was really cool. Like playing Chain was like a bucket list item for me, and to play a show like that as my first one is kind of unheard of. So that was really cool. Like, honestly, it was like we watched a couple of the videos. Sam's brother was in town for a little bit, and we were showing him like the videos that she took of that, like the first song in Chain. And I was like, I can't believe I did that. It was incredible. Seriously.
That rules. That, it's funny that you say that because, I was selfishly, I was happy when your name even came up. That's why for me, I was just like, dude, if Sean wants to do it, get Sean. Like, just because I knew that, like, I was like, it'll just be fun to talk with him. I know he's like a nerd, I know, like, I don't know. I just felt like we'd have like a good, you'd just be fun to have. I didn't know that one, you played bass. So when DeFont was like, yeah, Sean would be down. 2, I didn't even know that you like listened to us. I just thought you like, even for booking us, I thought it was like as like a, something for, like from DeFont, like as a, like, oh, cause you're there, cause you're homies with them. I'll help them out. Yeah. I didn't know that you actually listened to like NBR. I truly didn't know.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah. It was seriously so cool. So it was easy to kind of learn the Cycle songs a little bit, because like I already knew them for the most part. And even the newer stuff was kind of a weird thing for me because I remember I had like the rough mixes or like the first masters like forever ago, like when you guys worked, because that's when I was working with you guys. So I had them like years ago. and I almost like forgot some of the songs or something, or like forgot fully how they went, because it was like a weird thing when you work with bands or work in the industry, and then you listen to them so much, and then when it comes out, you like don't listen to it anymore.
Yeah.
I've had that with tons of bands. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been listening to that for like a year, so it's like I'm not gonna listen to it again, you know. But I remember hearing those songs for the first time and be like, yo, this rules. I'm so happy this band is back and everything, and now it's even better because like you guys are really back in like the biggest sense of the word, you know what I mean?
Okay.
How different was it playing those older songs, the cycle songs, versus the new record?
It's like two different worlds. Tron is a psychopath in the best way, possible. But even when I was first learning them, because some of them I learned by myself, and then some other ones I had like videos, whether it was guitar, and I learned from the guitar, and then kind of figured out like the different bass parts. Or Tron helped me with the new stuff a lot, sending videos of how to play it and everything. And when I first watched one of the first new ones, I was like, what? That what? And it's not even like it's like, it is difficult, I guess, in ways, but after I learned it, I was like, okay, it's not as hard as I put in my brain, but just the contrast between like cycles and the newer stuff bass wise, it's like two different planets. But now that I got out of my head and just learned those are like my favorite to play, honestly, because they're so fun, because it's not just straight up, you know, normal bass stuff, which the other stuff is sick. I love playing that too, but it's cool when it's because it's so different. It's not just following with the guitar. There's some wild shit in there, but it's awesome.
So I feel like I'm sure we talked about this, but I'm forgetting, so forgive me. Would you say you were more of a guitar player that takes on bass, or are you a bassist that took up guitar?
Guitar player that takes on bass, for sure.
Okay, cool.
I play guitar in GhostxShip, and the cover band I'm in, Career Mode, I play guitar in and everything like that. I've played bass because the reason I bought a bass is because I filled in for The World We Knew on bass when they did. Weirdly enough, it was their 10-year anniversary shows, and they asked me to play for them. Frank asked me to play for them too. There's a thing with that, I guess. He's like, "You're straight edge. You play instruments. You want to play bass for this?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?"
Like, yeah, right.
But yeah, that's why I bought a bass, was to play those shows, and now it's becoming useful now because it just sat there since those shows. So got some use out of it, which is nice.
When was that? When was their 10-year?
It was pre-pandemic, so I think it was like 2021, maybe.
Oh, okay.
No, 2019, maybe.
Oh shit.
It was a while ago. Because before, like a few
awesome.
months ago, like the first full show I played was in the end of January, and that was the first show I've played like an actual set since then. And before that was 4 years before that, maybe 5 years, when I was doing shit with Lionheart. Yeah, there's been some big gaps.
Were you playing guitar for
world.
Lionheart, or were you playing bass for Lionheart?
I play guitar for them. Yeah.
Okay.
Did a full Europe tour, their first headline tour in Europe, and then I did a bunch of fests and stuff in the US. Not a bunch, it was like 2 fests. We played Amnesia Rock Fest, which was one of the craziest days of my life, because I played a show with Korn and Blink-182.
Sick.
And that was just the headliners. Like every band you can ever think of played that day. So it's like kind of hard to be like, yeah, I played with Korn. It's like, yeah, you played with them on a fest, but I still played with them, but that was wild. And then we played Tsunami Fest, which was supposed to be their last East Coast show before they broke up. And, you know, they got back together, but I think that has been, I don't think they've played the East Coast since then. Maybe they played like a random one-off or something, but not that I remember.
Before Europe or coming back or something.
Yeah,
That's cool. Actually, MBR has technically played with Korn. We played with them at the I don't forget what it was for the Orange Grounds. Remember that, the fairground or Orange County Fair?
Yeah,
remember that?
Wait, was that the same hotel show that we played also, or was that?
No, it wasn't the hotel show. It was like on the fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
And I just remember that Korn got their set cut short because of the Anaheim curfew.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Let's think you played a fair show in general.
Story of the year.
Yeah. Oh, and set your goals.
And set your goals. Story of the year and set your goals. We played at some hotel in Long Beach. something like that. Those festivals are interesting, man. Like, it's like, let's just find a place that can house all these people and just set up stages in the most random places and just fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, they're fun.
Yep.
They're actually
much.
that one of those hotel show things.
Mhm.
That was the first time MBR played when I found out that my buddy Will had taken his life.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
So
damn.
so those always hold a weird I don't know what to call it, but yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I think there's a video of it. I don't even know if I even mention it. I bet I do. Dude, sorry, weird tangent. One of my weird worries, since I don't know, maybe think about it, I was talking about this with my friend Megan. I'm sure there's a video out there that exists of me speaking very poorly of my buddy Will that took his life. Because, like I say, when it happened, I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah,
I
you were
really-
mad. You were mad.
I was
remember
mad.
you being like really mad, especially at him.
Yeah, I was like mad at him. You know, the song "Outdated," like a lot of that me is about me, like my own. Like I used to use some really not cool words, and I
You're
used to,
basically talking shit.
I was talking shit, dude. I said
Yeah.
stuff like you took the coward's way out and stuff like that. So there's
Damn.
I really hope there doesn't exist videos out there, but there was nights where I had some really shitty things to say, just because I didn't know how to deal with it. So, but growth, right? Growth. We're all about growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. That's big of you to have the wherewithal to realize, you were wrong in thinking that, or you know what I mean, or just having a different state of mind and enough to write a song about yourself. Basically,
Yeah.
that's big. That's big. It's big. And I mean,
Yeah.
being angry about grief is a pretty normal thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
We're human.
You really go back to the timing, like that's stage
Mhm.
one of grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being pissed off.
Anger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, should it ever come up, I'm gonna just have to own it and be like, yeah, that's what I was back then. I was
Yeah.
not very educated in this, clearly, and but it set me on a path. You know, I feel like I've had a lot of feel like I've had growth since then. So
Look at you now.
anyway, sorry, weird tangent.
Not at all.
So I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen our show, but we like to do a mental health check. So our mental health check is basically we like to check on each other, see where we're at mentally for the week. That way, if there's anything that maybe things are going well, what are we doing? What are maybe some coping strategies that we're doing that are helping us, and if we're not, maybe what's going on that maybe is keeping us in that funk. And what are some things maybe we're ignoring to do? So you're our guest. Would you like to go first? Where are you at for the week mentally? You've had a week.
I had a couple weeks, lots of shows,
Yeah.
but it's been
Yeah.
really cool. It's been really fulfilling, and there was a point in time where I never thought I'd be playing music, and I didn't think I missed it, but now I'm realizing that I did, and that's been really cool. And Sam, my wife, has been the biggest proponent of pushing me to do it. So massive shout out to her for being like, you should do this stuff. And now that
Awesome.
I have, it's crazy because it's like, I think I was telling you guys when I was there, but when I just bought a guitar because my friends in career mode, which I now play in, they were like, yo, just play like a song with us. And I'm like, I don't even own a normal guitar. Like,
Yeah.
And Sam's like, we're going to get you one. All right. And then I got a guitar, started playing songs with them. And then something happened with their guitar player and he had to leave. And they asked me to join. And then that same week, you guys asked me to fill in for you. And then the singer of GhostxShip texted me, is like, hey, let's play this show with Earth Crisis. And I'm like, what is happening? It all happened at once. And then they all culminated in the same like week time span, which is even crazier that all of that happened. But that's been really cool. Today I've been going through, the back from trip stress of getting back into like the work motions and stuff. And I get very overwhelmed easily sometimes. I think mostly in work, but in other things too. And I think it's been good that I'm realizing I'm like, I don't have that much to do. It's fine. And I've been a lot better in recent years of being like, if I don't get to this tomorrow, it's not the end of the world. still going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's breathing down my neck. No one's really freaking out about this. It's just like when I have things on the list, I feel like I need to finish them. But I think I've been better at kind of relinquishing that, being like, I can do it tomorrow. It'll be good. So that's why I've been trying to remind myself all day today, with the stress of like, oh, I got to do all this laundry. I got to clean up the house. Haven't been here really in like 2 weeks, basically. But overall, feeling really good about things, honestly.
Awesome. And then we'll edit right here a clip of how crazy your cover band shows are.
Don't do this to me. Timestamp it. Wait, hold on. I think there's a feature in here where I can mark this clip. This is all new to me. Let's see. Boom. All right.
I love doing that. Like, especially early on, I just assumed we just do whenever we want it. I was like, yeah, we'll just add it right here. Mike's like, how are you doing, dude?
I will say, like, you know, kind of talking about you coming back to music and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Sam also kind of made a comeback too into photography, right? Because I think she was saying that she really hadn't been taking photos, and she like killed it with some of the pictures that she took this over the weekend.
I did not know that, because those pictures were amazing.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah. I've been pushing her to do that for years, especially when I was like an agent. We'd go to all these shows, and I'm like, I know you probably don't want like handouts or whatever, but like I was like, we go to these shows already. I could easily get you a photo pass, you know, like whatever. And she'd be like, I don't know, like the technology's changed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sure you'd get right back into it. And I was like, if you need any help with programs, like we both have friends that know them very well, or I could probably help you with some of it. Yeah. Whatever, you know, we can make it work. And then just right before that career mode show, the week before the NBR shows, she's like, I'm going to shoot tonight. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like once you get there, I'll make sure that the people know, and I'll, whatever you need from the venue so they don't bother you, like I'll get it. No problem. And then she did. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you didn't, and she hasn't shot a show in like 12 years before then. It's like you'd never stopped. I was like, this is crazy. So I'm super stoked. Yeah. She, like, even when we were packing, she's like, I can't believe
look at these pictures. Watch. Like this one right here. Dude. No, dude, for reals, when she showed me the pictures, one, again, like for reals, your guys' shows are wild for the cover band, and the shows looks like so much fun. But the pictures look sick. I remember like saying, I was like, dude, this looks rad. Yeah. I don't think it crossed my mind that she doesn't do that like all the time. I guess she used to 12 years ago. My goodness.
Yeah, I think she had mentioned it when we actually saw you guys at the Stig shows. Because that's when her and Karima had met, and then Karima was, you know, they were kind of picking each other's brains about stuff, and Karima was just getting into photography. She's just getting started, and so she was like, you know, and Sam was like, "Oh, nice camera. I used to shoot," and that's where I kind of heard, like in passing, like I used to shoot, but I don't do it anymore. And then like it was such like a, like now looking at it, like such a humble brag, because I'm like, yo, your pictures are sick. Like they're so good. Like she killed it. So
yeah, she took this like jumping shot of me at that show, and I was like, that's literally my favorite shot of me playing ever. And she was like, what? And I'm like, for real, it's so sick. It's like, dude, it's so cool. Right. So I'm glad she came, and super grateful for you guys for letting her come along with the shows and everything. And I'm glad she brought her cameras to them too.
Dude, she earned it with having to be so sweet to my nieces. My nieces like attacked her basically.
She loved them.
Best friends instantly.
Yeah, when we were like in Vegas, she was like, I miss them.
Oh, that's awesome. And then she even has she done merch before? Because she was slinging merch.
I mean, kind of, but she also manages a Hot Topic, so like selling T-shirts is like literally her job. Yeah. So she knows what's up. She knows the drill. You know what I mean? Yeah. We kind of had to preemptively run merch for the career mode show because everyone was busy, and like, can someone run over? And we're like, okay. But we knew nothing of like how they did things. I just order the merch for them and usually design it. But I was like, the way they like writing stuff down, I was like, what does any of this mean? And like I found out later because they had spreadsheets like printed out and everything, but they put like the remaining amount number in like where the sizes were, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why didn't you just do a tally?
Yeah.
And then you subtract
Yeah,
it from the
interesting.
inventory. I was like, why would you write that number? I was like, it's so confusing. But we handled it because there was just like a big line after we played, so we were like, fuck. And there were just so many people, and we were running out of sizes, and they're like, do you have this? And we're like, no, sorry. You can buy this though. You know, it was just one of those things. But yeah, she knows the drill. And I was like, as soon as you came back, I was like, huh, right back in the swing of things, huh?
Dude, I hate doing merch. I hate it so much.
It was so funny at the chain show because Mike literally jumped back there just to kind of like get something or just put posters behind.
I went to put the posters away. That's all I wanted to do.
Because when I got there, I had brought the posters and the box was falling apart and it was all over the place, so we just kind of carried it in. And Mike jumps to the back to put the posters away, and then just gets like slammed with people coming up and talking to him and doing merch. And I was like, "Oh, okay, bye, Mike," because they didn't want to talk to me; they wanted to talk to you.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I feel bad because like I want to be overall. I want to talk with them. I want to have I want them to have a good experience, you know. But then like I feel like I spoil it when they're like, oh yeah, and can I grab like a medium and a large? I'm like, fuck.
You're like, where's the shit?
Yeah, I'm like all angry. How much is it? I don't know. It's gonna be fucking whatever. You know, I'm literally the worst. I apologize to anyone who showed up in that first half hour. I apologize. But yeah, shout out to Renee for handling it for like after the show.
But also not a shout out to Renee because Renee hasn't listened to the last. She said like the last 26 episodes.
Boo.
So she was at one time our biggest supporter, and no, she got a new job. She's been working hard, and that's not the easiest career path. You know, so.
Renee and I used to work together at the boys' home that we were counselors at.
Oh, nice.
And she's a real one. She's been in the trenches with me, and since we've left, she's been a supporter of mostly like Burner State, my punk band. She's coming to a lot of those shows and stuff, and then I believe this was the first, right?
Yeah, she's been to like Torture Culture shows. This is the first MBR show though.
Yeah, and then she got thrown into having to do merch because nobody was back there.
I was surprised you guys didn't have anyone lined up, but
we didn't even think about it, man. Like
I think like at some point in time, like I was just gonna jump in and do it, and then everybody just kind of went different directions, and then
I want to say this. Like we used to be a well-oiled machine.
Things are different now.
Things are very different now. I think
a minute.
It's just been a minute, dude. Like we just forget stuff like that. Like it didn't even occur to me until I was struggling to be like, we didn't even think of having someone to do merch. Like it hadn't even been a discussion yet.
I think I always fall into this weird category of like, I'm here to help. So like, if you need somebody to do merch, I'll do merch.
Mm-hmm.
But then also I'm in that weird category of, but I also had to learn some songs to do some guest vocals. So like, am I supposed to just stay there until song 6 and then just fucking like power run all the way
Sprint
up?
up.
You know? Yeah.
It's just such an easy thing. I would have paid out of pocket. I would have paid someone out of pocket to do merch. Like, it's just.
I think Sam asked, but at the same time, I was like, I knew merch was going to be like pretty wild, and there was going to be a fuck ton of people there, and I was like, I don't want her to be in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. That's a lot.
Don't stress.
We know people. Like we could have.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I freaking left my microphone at the practice spot. I mean, this is like we used to be so on top of things.
I forgot you did that.
Oh man, there's been like I don't know. Just this has been so fun coming back and doing stuff. It's like it's very humbling being reminded of like. Just because you used to do it doesn't mean you still know how to do it.
I knew that it was going to be a little bit of a wild ride when like I'm getting texts from Mike like the day of the show, like, hey, by the way, load in is at this time. If you haven't driven past my house yet, could you stop and get this? And then I get to the show and he's like, I forgot something else, but it was already too late. I was sure you were already gone. Like there's just like
I was like, Mike, hey, sick. So you're gonna be okay, cool. Can you grab the posters that we forgot in my house? The big ass posters that we forgot in my house. Can you grab those, please?
Giant posters, and then your nieces came down and started interrogating me.
Just harassing.
Yeah. So
Classic.
Awesome, man.
Did they draw Baby Yoda for you though?
they did not. Actually, they just grilled me about my basically stepchildren.
Yeah.
And then we're like, why is that? And I'm like, well, because I chose a girl that already had kids. And they're like, why? I was like, oh, because she's a sweetheart and I love those kids. And like, but why? And I'm like, because, and I'm like looking at Sarah to try to bail me out. And she's just like, it's on you, bud.
It's on you,
I feel like you got off easy.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, I got to take these posters to Uncle Mikey. I got to go. So, yeah. It was,
Oh my god. Those are big posters.
they're huge.
They're so big.
All right, well, Mike, where are you at mentally? How's your week been?
Oh, we're still on mental health check. I'm good. It's crazy. I'm like I'm trying to get myself into vacation mode, but there's so much that needs to be done before I can get into vacation mode that I'm just like we're recording 2 episodes tonight. Right, where we got to do this one with you, and then we're gonna do one on our own for while we're all on the road and gone and stuff, and then that on top of like, oh yeah, dude, my I felt like such a zombie today. My sleep schedule was so jacked up because, you know, like we kind of talked about it before we jumped on this. Like we were out until 4 or 5 in the morning, and then slept for an hour in the back of the van, and then drove back home, got here in the afternoon.
But did we sleep?
Not really. Oh my gosh. I forgot to tell you this. Our buddy Dave returned his rental car and rode back with us. And Dave has the most gnarly sleep apnea.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, like how he sounds like he's dying when he's sleeping. Like it's a snore, but he also like chokes on himself and doesn't breathe. And then he like violently shakes awake and then goes back to sleep. I was like, man, dude, you need a CPAP machine. Like, what is going on? So both me and Mike had to put our AirPods in and turn on the noise cancellation.
Dude, I was still,
and you could still hear it,
or I'd feel it. I don't know. It was just rough.
So we slept for like max an hour and a half, and then hit the road again.
What time did you end up going to bed?
Dude, when I got home, I still like. Okay, and then this is messed up too. Like I get home and I finally take a shower because we're in the same clothes that we had been in the show and everything. I go to take a shower and my shower head just decides today's the day, and it explodes on me. It broke off of the shower nozzle, and it broke so badly that when it fell, I'm not gonna pull my shirt up, but I have a cut from in between my chest all the way down like to my like belly button.
What
and
the
it just
heck?
because the way it fell, it hit me, and I was trying to grab it, but it was like sink. And it just scraped me, and I like got out of the shower bleeding. Like I got my towel, and I was just covered in blood, and I was like, "Cry out!" I was just like, "Not." I was like, "I need you to give me a Band-Aid or something." She's like, "Why?" And she opens the door. She's like, "What happened?" And I just held up the shower head. I was like, "This happened."
Dude, death by shower head.
It was bad. So of course I angrily, while I was bleeding out, got on Amazon and made a review about the shower head. This thing's dangerous. It's like so deliriously tired, dude. So, but yeah, man, I mean, it was such a fun little weekend, and like hanging out with everybody, and, you know, just kind of being like, I wasn't even playing shows, but just to be kind of like, you know, on the road again, essentially was nice, even if it was a short little trip. So now it's like recovering, going back to real life for a week, and then I can go hang out on a beach. So
hell yeah.
White Sands.
Where are you at?
For me, so last week was pretty, it was just like, you know, everything that you work towards and all coming to head, and then like the guys flying in. I just want to make sure everyone's comfortable and they feel, you know, everyone feels, just comfortable, I guess. Mentally, I was just kind of all over the place. Just, I wasn't worried. I was happy that my I don't know if I told you. I told actually something to Josh today. Um, once we got past that first practice, I was like, okay. I was like, dude, for us not playing together, like, I think this is gonna be fine. And then by the second practice, I was like, oh, okay, this is good, sweet. So that was nice because I wasn't like hesitant or worried. Then it just became more of just like work, focusing on like what I need to do and what I'm gonna say, during the set and stuff. So I felt like I was in a good place mentally, even though it was just kind of chaotic, I guess, with everything. And I still worked like a random shift when they were here.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good week, man. I mean, anytime, anytime I feel like I'm able to do music again, like it's my ultimate, it's my ultimate coping mechanism. And it used to be when at the end of my time touring, it became almost something dangerous for me, just because I didn't know how to set boundaries. I didn't know how to like handle what I was being told and people sharing with me. And it became, it just kind of started to become a little dangerous for me. But now, very, very different. Um, I was welcoming, a lot of, not that I want to have hard conversations, but I just felt more protected, myself protected, and being able to engage in those kind of conversations. And was something that was very helpful. I mean, mentally for me was I felt like there was a lot of victories that people were sharing with me, which is awesome. Like, I love that. Like, I think when people will understand that, like, I get approached after shows and people share things with me, I think the misconception is like it's always something really awful, which isn't the case. A lot of times it's like victories. It's like stuff that's been like good, or like where they were and now they're here. So that was awesome. I think that, like, I was riding on that riding on that high through Vegas and through Sunday, where we were just walking zombies, dude. Like, I didn't we got home, and I like decided, like, I need to do laundry now. I need to shower now. I need to do all these things now. I didn't go to bed. I didn't fall asleep until like 8 p.m.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like 4.
Yeah. I think I was in bed by like 6, and I just couldn't turn off. Did you have that problem?
Kinda. I actually slept here.
In the office?
Yeah, because I got home, showered, got obliterated by the pizza grater of my shower, and then like, that like Elliot was just like so stoked that I was here. He was like freaking out, and then so I ended up having to go like, hey, I'm gonna sneak out to the back, and I came back here just thinking like, let me sleep for a couple hours. I'll get up, go in the house, have dinner, go to bed. Dude, I woke up at 2 a.m. Like 1 a.m. or something like that. Got up, went to the bathroom, and then tried to lay down in my room over there, and I was like wired. So I like laid down for a little bit, and then like Elliot woke up, came into the room, laid down, and then they were both like tandem snoring back and forth. Like, one would snore, and then as she was like inhaling, Elliot would snore, and I was like, I gotta go. I can't do this. So then I came back out here, and like, dude, at like 2 this morning, I was just out here like, I was watching like videos and like playing guitar and like watching TV, and then I went straight to work. And so like I've been running since 1 this morning, basically.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing is that when I did fall asleep, I was out until I had to wake up for work. I had to wake up at 4. Dude, I woke up so sore. Like, I feel everything today. Like, yesterday, I didn't really feel anything. I was just numb. I was just so tired. Today, I felt everything. I got stepped on, which
Was your toe? Was there blood in your shoe?
It wasn't blood, but it was. I mean, maybe there was at one point, but it was all scrapped. Someone stepped on my toe, cracked my nail a little bit. My nail sticking into my toe, so that was fun. And then apparently something with my shoulder. I think I got hit with my shoulder. My hands are all like achy. Whatever. That's like.
I think that's age.
That's age stuff.
I oddly feel really good after the shows, which is wild, because the weekend before I was down pretty bad. I was like sleeping flat on my couch with like a heated neck thing on and stuff. But
that's probably
time, maybe I got it out of my system. My body was nice and loose. I did do lots of stretching though. Maybe that probably helped too.
You did, yeah. I was like, dang, I gotta learn that. He's doing this one on the couch. He's putting his head back. I was like, What is that?
The things
Stretches
that you
right
don't
up here,
do.
man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I thought I stretched, and then I saw Sean stretching. I was like, oh, I don't stretch, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I watched Sean stretch in the green room at Chain, and I was like, my mobility is just fucked.
I know.
I can't. do
Mine
any of
isn't
this.
good either. I'm like not flexible at all.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, mentally we're good. I feel like we've had a crazy week, but we're mentally good. So something I want to ask you, Sean. So on your podcast, I'm gonna mess up the wording. If you would like to say it, it's you're the most positive
Pop culture podcast in the multiverse.
pop culture podcast.
Yes.
What is it?
The most positive pop culture podcast in the multiverse.
Awesome. And I guess my question for you is, where do you think your positivity comes from? Is it something? Have you always been a pretty positive person? Is it something you have to really work towards, or is it or is it just because like this is a medium that you just enjoy that it's really hard to find negatives? Or
Yeah, I think it's maybe a combination of all of them. I think so. Sam and I went through like a lot of deaths in our life a few years ago, like a lot. She lost both her parents. I lost both my grandparents. My cousin, she lost her grandmother too. Actually, both of her grandmothers too. Just a lot of like one of her childhood best friends to like drugs. Like it was like a lot in a few year span. And both of her parents, her mom had cancer, and her dad he's been sick. It was kind of like MS, but a little different. But he had it for like decades, and it finally just got the best of him. And through that kind of movies, and especially like I guess the MCU kind of were my safe haven, and that's when I got really big into podcasts in like 2018, 2019. And that stuff just I don't know, like something about it just gave me something to look forward to, or something to kind of just like escape because even at that point there was definitely kind of what you were talking about before with your friend who took his life. Obviously different circumstances, but there was a lot of points where I was like super angry, and but like loss is hard, and it's hard for people to deal with it. And so part of it is that stuff, I think, because it was like a very big outlet for me. And at that time, like I wasn't playing music or anything. I was just working in the industry as an agent or with design stuff, and that stuff was always there. And then I've kind of just come to realize more in the last few years, now that the podcast has really been going, is that I'm always touted as the guy who kind of like likes everything, but I view like pop culture as something that's like, it's like a gift to us. It's kind of like the same thing with like music. It's like we're lucky to have these things, and I feel like a lot of people forget that's why it's here. It's there to provide an escape or provide something where we can see ourselves in something that's bigger than us. And I don't know, it's just I've seen this weird thing in the internet lately where it's just I feel like people watch things not to enjoy them, but just to have a take on the internet. And I know that sounds kind of hypocritical from a guy who has a podcast that talks about pop culture, but the reason I created it is because I love talking about this stuff. I love watching it, and I love having conversations about it. And that doesn't mean everyone who comes on the podcast agrees with everything I say. Like if you don't like something, you don't like something. And I'm vocal if I don't like something. It's just I'd rather take the positive route, because there's so much. That's just how I am with life most of the time. I can be a little too realistic or like literal sometimes, and some people see that as pessimism. But I just think sometimes that's just the way I process things. And so it can come off pessimistic, but I don't mean it to. It's just me trying to be realistic sometimes, I guess, if that makes sense. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like the world needs more positive stuff, because there is a lot of like blind hatred out there. And I don't know, just a lot of like hate that it's just not needed, in my opinion. And again, that doesn't mean if you don't like something, you don't like something. Yeah. That's fine. It's just, I feel like so many things are judged based off nothing, basically, nowadays. I don't know. It's strange.
Or just like,
so I just tried to bring a little
personal...
light.
Awesome.
It's kind of funny because like I've listened to your show, like I've been, a fan of it, and actually sitting with you and doing the show. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't admit it that day, and I kind of said it a little when I posted it earlier, but like I was a little nervous at first when we first got started because I was like, man, pop culture fans are super rabid fan base. I've been here before. I know what this is. And then I'm like, because of those nerves of being on somebody else's show, I'm like, oh man. And then I couldn't, like, there were some moments where I'm talking and I'm like, I just forgot what I was trying to say here. And then I had to like circle back around and remember where my brain was going. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, but I definitely like I feel like you're genuine in what you're doing on the show. Like, and when you're talking about things, like there's this like real, like, yeah, like this is not just to appease anybody, or it's not just like a, let me just say what I think the Marvel fans are going to like, or, you know, whatever. Like there's genuine like emotion and feeling in this. And like even down to like, you're so much more prepared for your shows than we are for even this, you know? And like, but like, I was trying so hard not to just stare at your laptop the whole time with your script and like what you have written out and everything. But I'm like, man, this guy, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah,
we don't have this figured out.
He's like, I'm excited for today, man. I got my show notes ready, and I looked, and I was just like, wow, that's a page. Mine are like 5 bullet points.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. It's real.
Yeah,
it was cool, man.
Yeah, you genuinely love what you're talking about, and I can attest to that. I heard him and Josh just nerding out, I think almost all the way to the studio about Star Wars.
I heard some of it in the van too. Like I'd catch little glimpses while we were driving of them like talking about like something about a name, like a Star Wars acronym or something like that. And I was just like, oh, I just want to sit in the back right now. I don't even want to drive this thing. Somebody else drive this thing.
That's awesome. And I love that people like, even Josh, he like obviously knew that I'm into this shit too. And he would just be like, yo, man, what do you think about this and stuff? Like that stuff's the coolest shit to me. And the fact that I'm glad that kind of shines through, because that's what I always try to say too. I was like, this is just me. This is how I view things. Yeah. And I think people, because there's a Facebook group I have for the podcast, and it's very active and a lot of people post in it, but I think a small percentage actually listen to the show. Which is fine. That's totally fine. Like I do not, fault them at that or anything. But I think more people are realizing now that I'm getting like early screeners for stuff and posting my thoughts on that. People are like, oh, he's not just saying he likes this stuff because he just likes everything. Like, because those are like opinions that are fully mine, not biased by any outside interference. Especially when I was doing like the Last of Us coverage, I was like, like no one could say like, oh yeah, you're saying that because everyone else is saying that. It's like, no, like I was saying this before, like anyone saw it. I mean, other press saw it and everything, but they knew it was like genuinely me saying these things. But you guys saying those things are incredible. Thank you so much. And having you guys on was awesome. You guys were such dope guests. And I've had Mike on before. He was on a panel for Black Widow way back when.
Terrified.
But
I was terrified.
I heard him telling me about it before he did it. He's like, I'm going on the show. I was like, sick.
I'd already seen Black Widow, but I feel like I rented it again to like make sure I didn't sound like I'm like I enjoy this stuff, but I was like, man, I want to sound like a poser.
No, definitely not a poser. You guys are awesome. You guys killed it, and I'm so grateful that I got to do it in your studio because that was awesome. I love in-person stuff. I've only got to do it like a handful of ones, but that was so sick.
So kind of jumping off like the tying on to the podcast, like, do you remember what your first, like, whether it was comic books or movies, or like what your first real entry into like pop culture was? And I'll make this a 2-part question. Like, what was your first entry that you were like, yo, I love this shit? And then also like, what was that moment with music and like punk rock and stuff for you? Like, what do you still remember like that discovery, or is it something that's just it's been so long?
Yeah, because we forget that it is Metalcore Nerds.
Yeah,
like I don't want to forget that. I don't want that to be lost. Like, there's a music aspect.
I do think people. I've been including more music stuff because usually it was just kind of became this thing where it was a person from the music community talking about that stuff, which I that's what I've obviously loved the concept because I came up with it, but it's been cool to see people come on and be genuinely excited to do a podcast because it's not just the same questions before. And I'm not saying there aren't podcasts that are
Right.
incredible at it, because there are tons of them that are so good at doing those types of things. But I wanted something different. And the biggest one I can remember is when I had Lucas from Holding Absence on, and he's like, I'm literally so stoked to do this podcast because I love talking about this stuff. And I was like, whoa, that's
Awesome.
fucking cool. But as far as what got me into pop culture, the biggest thing is like Batman the Animated Series, the '89 Batman, like Spider-Man the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series. That was like my gateway. Like Power Rangers, I had 2 pairs of bed sheets when I was younger. One was Power Rangers and one was Batman, and it was like a blueprint of the '89 Batmobile. It was the sickest sheets ever. I loved it. And it's so funny because I asked my mom a few years ago, because I remember having the original Star Wars trilogy, the VHS box set with the 3. And I was like, why did you buy me that? Like, what, like, why? And she's like, I have no idea. Because I always just remember having it, but I didn't think they were like, my parents were fans of it at all, So I was just like, why did we have that? And she was like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, cool. But that's probably
cool
with pop culture. Is that stuff that kind of got me into it. And then I think like in probably, I don't know, like phase 2 of the MCU, I kind of always saw almost all the MCU movies in theaters, and pretty much any comic book movie. Oh, my Siri went off. Weird. But so yeah, I kind of always just went and saw them no matter what. I think one of the biggest ones was like Guardians, when Guardians first came out, because that's when I was, super in, like GhostxShip was very much a thing at that point. And I always compare them. They're like the hardcore band of the MCU, because they're a big found family, just like heavy music is, and they're all just the misfits that bound together and found each other. And I fucking love that franchise so much, and I love that team. And I think that's why. And I don't know. And like we were talking about this when we recorded our podcast, but it's like we fell in love with a talking raccoon in a tree. It's like crazy to think about. So I think like that stuff is like kind of when I really was like, oh, this MCU thing is pretty sick, For music, I think the big one, there's like 2 like CDs I remember getting that really defined my music taste, I think, for like the rest of my life. One was my mom got me a Headbangers Ball compilation that had like Kill Switch on it. Okay. It had what else did it have on it? Kill Switch, probably As I Lay Dying, 18 Visions, and those are bands I still love to this day. And then I bought Taking Back Sunday's Where You Wanna Be on CD, and it came with a Victory Records sampler that had Bayside on it. It had Hawthorne Heights on it. It had, I believe, A Day to Remember, maybe. It had Silverstein, and just like a bunch of bands like that, which also I still like listen to and love. And I remember telling that story because I've had 2 of the members of Bayside on. And I was like, yeah, I remember finding you guys on a Victory Records sampler. And they're like, that's fucking cool. I kind of miss days like that.
Those samplers had such an impact.
Yeah. You don't really get that. I mean, Spotify kind of does that for you, I guess, in a way. But there was just something different about buying a CD, open it, and you have this extra piece of music that just gives you like 5 different bands you've probably never heard of, which is sick. I kind of wish. I mean, Spotify has like You May Also Like, which I know is helpful, but I don't know. Like, I wish there was something like that too, where it kind of just gave you something that could be new.
Yeah, I think
that's it for those.
The Spotify thing is cool.
Yeah,
like the Spotify thing is awesome, but I also think like it's too like algorithm based, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you like this, and so we're gonna find you similar. Versus that sampler was like, you have like even just the difference between like As I Lay Dying and like Bayside, right? Yeah. Like if they existed on the same sampler, you're like, oh, I'm hearing so much different shit, right? Yeah. But then it wasn't like, oh, if you liked metal, As I Lay Dying, you're gonna like Kill Switch. It was just, here's a bunch of different bands. Yeah, we hope you like at least 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah, like having having like a Treyu on a sampler for a Taking Back Sunday, like that's kind of wild. Yeah, yeah. Like Bayside kind of makes sense sonically in a way, but having bands like a Treyu or even Silverstein, you're like, oh, cool. And that was like the rise of like screamo post-hardcore. It's like everyone calls it post-hardcore now, but back in that day it was screamo. Yeah, that was like the rise of that shit. So that was cool.
It's funny. I had a really random. I I remember my last little time of where I could like burn CDs, like make CDs for myself that I would enjoy. And before it all got taken over to be like people had iPods and stuff or iShuffles, whatever it was. But I remember my last weird compilation thing that I made for myself. It had a Coheed song, just one Coheed song. It had a couple Story of the Year songs. It had Rufio, the last thing Rufio put out, and it had the one that I had just found. I was like super excited about. It had Seosin. It had the whole EP, the whole,
shit.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't know what else is on there. Some other random stuff.
The EP
But
that made you never listen to
any other Seosin
screamo shit again.
Yeah, I said this on the last, or not the last one, previous. So when I find something for the first time, I have a really hard time liking anything that follows it. That's similar, just weird. Because like Seosin for me at the time, like I love that EP, and I don't anything else with that. They followed it. I could not get into Alasana. I couldn't even get to New Seosin with a new singer. Couldn't get into it.
Oh man,
Couldn't
that
get
album is a
into
banger.
Scarlet Drive. I know. I mean, I can appreciate songs. I can hear it, and I can be like, "This is cool." But I just can't, I've never gone out of my way to like listen to it as much as when I found that EP, put that in. Same thing with As I Dine. When I found As I Dine, because at the time for me that was probably one of the more like heavier things I was into. It was hard to get into all the other bands that were like in that same world. So I don't know. I think it's just a weird thing about myself that, aside from punk, all my punk bands sound the same. But
Yeah.
anything after that, it was just like this weird, like,
Yeah.
whatever I found first, I rode with.
It's so funny
I
when
feel
you
like
mentioned
As I Die
Alsaybar because
was,
I
like,
used to
when I-
love that band when I was a teenager, and then I tried to revisit them like a few
Yeah.
years, and I was like, "What was I thinking?" I was like, "I don't really," and I think it was just mostly the vocals. I'm like, I cannot get into these vocals. And I remember loving them when I was a teenager, and I'm like, not for me anymore. Nope.
There were a lot of those bands, or I was telling Mike, like the whole reason that when I started like doing vocals in a band that I didn't sing and I only was just doing like screaming and heavy stuff was because I couldn't hit notes that I was hearing these bands hit. And I was
So
like,
high.
oh, I'm just like, nobody's going to like it because I can't hit those fucking high notes. So I was like, all right, I'm just not going to do this. Cause I have like my singing voice is very bassy. So I was like,
Right.
oh, nobody's interested in this, in this type of music. But yeah.
Funny you say that. When I got into Seosin, being a vocalist, I had to try. I had to try for myself just to see if I could even get up there. And I remember like, kind of like fighting to get up there. And then just kind of being honest with myself and it's kind of being like, you know what? That's just, it's not going to be my range. I'm going to have to be.
You sing pretty high too, but it's just a different register entirely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different. I feel like there's a difference between singing high and singing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
I know a lot of guys with high voices that I don't know that they sing well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think I sound like I can. You can hit notes. Like anyone, I feel like anyone can hit notes and you can like flirt up there. But if that's not where your voice sits well and you can't do all the other things then it's just like, what do you have to, don't do this. Don't do this. Come down a little bit. Come down with us. Soar here. You're still flying. Soar here.
You're still flying.
Fly so high.
I love that analogy.
I have a lot of those just to make myself okay with, the mediocrities of my own life. You're good here. You're still moving. Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're still moving.
Keep these.
I mean, you have a great
broken bodies
voice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Anyone listening right now, like I said, my voice sounds shot, but I could sing if I had to. If I absolutely had to, I could. Just got to drink all the water.
Yeah, it's kind of almost, it's a little unfortunate that there's this little couple days stretch between like the shows and then you starting tour, right? Because like your voice kind of like you're ready and then it kind of then we gotta go again,
Well, I'm hoping it's like a sunburn.
Just sing tonight.
Yeah, I know I did. No, I sang on the way here.
Okay.
Sing on the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that once hoping that I sleep on the plane. That's my first big hope. I hope that I can sleep on the plane,
Yep.
and then if whether that happens or not will dictate how much water I'm drinking once I land.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of my saving grace for this last week because my sleep just wasn't there. I go, oh, that's something I probably should have said during my mental health check. I wasn't really sleeping very well, and sleep is like my recovery for my voice. But if I can't sleep, then I have to chug all the water, all of it.
You're that big gallon guy carrying around.
Yeah, I mean that's not normally me, but it had to be.
It had to be.
It had to be for these shows. That was the only way.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to you, Sean, again, because we keep going off on these tangents. Another kind of pop culture question. What is your, and this is a hard question to answer, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but what's your all-time go-to movie?
Like favorite or go to?
It like your I guess I'd say go-to because favorite's really tough to really decipher, right? Like, what's the movie that like
all movies get eliminated tomorrow? You only get to save one.
Oh shit, that's
wow. Jeez, that's even harder.
Yeah. That, I don't even know if I could answer that.
One of my favorite movies of all time, and I think I would never get bored of it, is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Even though I'd probably end up in a
phenomenal,
deep, dark, depressed hole, I think, after watching that repeatedly. But I think it'd be worth it. Like I have Meet Me in Montauk tattooed on my leg. Like I love that movie. It's
nice.
And it's funny at times, and it's got a sci-fi element to it. Great cast, you know. There's a lot to love about it. So maybe that, or I don't know, or like I don't know if I wanted something like big spectacle, like Endgame. Yeah, I've watched that movie like 20 times, and it gets me every time. And it's like I'm like crying by Tony Stark, but when the portal starts opening up, I'm so stoked on life. You know, it's hard to go wrong with that one. You know, but yeah.
What was your reaction / what was the theater's reaction during the On Your Left and the portals open?
Dude. So Sam and I, we flew to Texas for So What Fest that weekend. It came out, and we saw opening night Thursday night in Texas, like right after we landed, like a little bit. And it was like, I think it was the first time I saw an MCU movie where opening night it felt like a fucking event. I feel like it did a little bit with Infinity War too, but for this one especially, I feel like I was like seeing my favorite sports team win the fucking championship or something. Like it was so insane.
Yeah.
Like the theater was freaking out almost the entire movie. You know, the On Your Left part, I was like, dude, this is the sickest shit ever. You know, like, and then by the end, you know, everyone's just in tears, pretty much. Yeah. I just remember after he died, and you have that quiet moment with at the funeral, and Happy just talking to his daughter, and she's like, "I want a cheeseburger," and he's like, "Your dad loved cheeseburger," and I'm like, "Bro, what the fuck?" I was like, "Why would you say that?" You know,
bro,
like, why would you say that? You know, and just like the ending with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, like reacting to him dying, and the fucking hologram message. It's all just like a punch in the gut, repeatedly.
Yeah.
You know, but opening night, that
completely
was like,
earned too.
Oh, dude, 100%. It's like storytelling at its finest. Did you guys have a similar thing when you saw it? Was it like that? Like everyone was like freaking the fuck out?
My theater stood up, and
you hate that.
But it I saw it all happen. I know why my whole theater was standing. So when he finally says Avengers Assemble, that whole part, right? I saw it happening because I was kind of a little further back. One guy towards the middle front. One guy, when that happened, one guy just stood up. Good for him, one guy.
Yeah.
But just that split second of him standing up in that amazing part, the person behind him stood up to look past him, like, what's this idiot doing? And him doing that caused the people. It made the whole theater it made the whole theater stand
like
up.
in a wave.
Yeah, because
Oh
then
my God.
it was just like I'm not going to miss a second of this.
Yeah.
And if someone's standing up, I got to stand up. It was just funny because like I don't know if I feel like people at the end of it kind of were like, I don't know. I can't be the only person who saw that, but I saw it happen.
Yeah.
It was one person. He stood up, blocked one view, and then it just came
Right.
back. That was my experience with it, and just freaking like throwing popcorn in my own face because I like was freaking out.
Mine was just crying. Like people were just like, I could hear, like, first off, you hear that Avengers assemble, and then like everybody gets like fucking goosebumps. But like as soon as the portals start opening and you get that on your left moment, dude, people were like insane. Like,
Let's fucking go.
yeah, like, and you know, like we're kind of in the hood over here, like that's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's what the, you know, like
You're
shit like
fucked
that.
now. You're fucked now.
Everybody's cheering and like talking shit, but like in like the best way possible. Like it was just, and still to this day, I watch reactions, like theater
Dude,
reactions to that scene,
So good.
and I still like get like kind of teary eyed because I'm like, I
Mhm.
remember that feeling. You know,
Yeah, dude.
so
Or even before that with like Cap picking up the hammer, you know,
yeah,
I was like, how is
Yeah.
this how is this real? It was like I think the only movie that has given me a similar feeling is like Spider-Man No Way Home, because that's like the
Yeah.
end game of Spider-Man movies of the last 20 years in ways,
Mhm.
while still being like Tom Holland's story. But that was the same thing too. I was just like, Andrew Garfield pops out, Tobey Maguire pops out. You're like, how is this happening? Like, how the fuck
Yeah.
did they pull this shit off? You know, it's pretty incredible that they can do that. But yeah, insane. I love the standing up
I
story.
saw-
That's great.
Yeah, and then I was still working at my last job, and I worked like 1 p.m. to like 11 p.m. And so everybody, all my buddy, they all got tickets to opening night, as they should.
we
you
had
know.
a theater.
Oh yeah,
We
you
got
guys
the whole
had,
theater.
they had a theater. They rented out a theater. All my
Oh.
friends got to go see opening night, and I just had to be okay with just being like, you know what, my day off is on Sunday. It's still the weekend. It'll be fine. I just gotta avoid my phone
And my friends.
and my
Yeah,
friends,
literally everything.
everything. And so I'm like, I'm at work, and then Mike comes out of the theater, and all he said, I don't even know. You're just like, dude. I don't know what he said, and I was just like, dude, fuck this. So like, I was looking for like 1 a.m. showings. I was like, I have to see it tonight. I have to see it tonight. Couldn't find anything, dude. Everything was completely sold out. And then finally, I found like what was it, like a 7 a.m. or an 8, a weird, like a 7 a.m. showing for Spider-Man. I
God.
found it, and because it's 7 a.m. on like a Friday, nobody could come. So I went by myself. I bought 2 tickets, just hoping somebody would come. And I was like posting, like, hey guys, it's kind of early, but somebody wants to come watch. Don't know with me. I got a ticket. I'll buy you popcorn. Come on. Like nobody, everyone's like at work, like normal people. So I went by myself, and I had a great time. I saw, the theater took my ticket, whatever. And dude, me and the guy next to me, we high fived, dude. It was like we had,
Fuck yeah.
I had a great time.
Some random dude.
Yeah, we had a great time. I think you felt bad for me. I think it was pretty easy to find out that like there's a group here now,
Yeah.
and then there's like me, and I like my own popcorn 7 a.m. Whatever. I saw Logan by myself, dude. That was
Oh,
good.
man.
I got to like fucking
Yeah.
weep alone.
Yeah.
So
I actually saw
Yeah.
No Way Home twice in opening weekend. I did see Endgame twice opening weekend too, but because we saw it again in Texas before we flew home, we went and saw it again. We almost saw it right after it was done. That's how much we were like, holy fuck. And it's a big testament when Sam's stoked on a movie, because I'm usually just stoked on everything, and she'll be like, either be like,
Yeah.
that was really good, or that was okay. And me, I'm just like,
Mhm.
fuck yeah, this movie was so
the
sick.
best thing ever.
But with Endgame and like stuff like that, she's like, that was unbelievable. But with No Way Home, we went like with a big group of friends the Thursday, and then the Friday I went and saw it again by myself. And so I was like packed theater again. Obviously, it was Friday night, so I knew everything that was coming. So I was like watching everyone react to like what was coming, which was pretty cool, honestly, to see like
Yeah.
everyone. I was like, oh, and then react to it. It was cool.
It's sick.
Movies. Going to the theater for me, it was kind of like my It's like my happy place. That's one of my coping mechanisms. I think,
Same, big same.
and it was that was like hard when obviously the pandemic and stuff, and it's like, oh man, like
Yeah.
selfishly that was like where I was impacted.
Yeah.
Like missed theaters.
Yeah, I wish we had more time. We could have saw a movie together. There were so many movies out.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
sick. We were very busy.
We were very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that we got to have a nice little dinner.
That was nice. That was really
Thursday
nice.
night that we did that.
Yeah. Thursday night.
Yeah.
That was great.
Just to kind of wrap up a little bit. What are you looking forward to that releases, I guess, this year? I guess
throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah. What are you excited that's come, or I guess not even this year? What's something that you're excited for that is coming?
Man, there's so much. Like this year is nuts. On the plane, I downloaded the latest episode of Ted Lasso and then the latest episode of Succession, and both of those are like two of the greatest shows on TV right now in totally different ways. If you've not watched Succession, that show is fucking unreal, and the latest episode might be the best episode they've ever done. And it's like, I don't want to say it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever said, because I already said that about episode 3 of The Last of Us, so I don't want to like sound like I'm just dropping these are the best episodes of TV like too often, I guess. Yeah. But it was fucking incredible. So I'm excited to see where that goes, because it definitely kind of flipped the series of how I thought the season was going on its head. I'm really stoked for the Ahsoka series. That's been like my most anticipated Star Wars thing for like years, because basically it's just a sequel to Rebels in live action, and Rebels is like one of my favorite Star Wars things, and Ahsoka is probably my favorite Star Wars character, or at least one of them. So I'm super stoked for that. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Spider-Verse trailer. I'm insanely stoked for that. Probably my biggest, most anticipated movie is Dune Part 2. I'm fucking so stoked for that. I loved the first one, and I'm excited to see where the second one goes, because I know it's supposed to be a little more like action heavy. The first one had a lot of work to do laying the ground world and, you know, all the characters and all the cultures and everything like that. But I think this one's going to be something wild. In July, Barbie and Oppenheimer are dropping on the same day, which I think is going to be one of the craziest opening days ever. And I'm stoked for both those movies for very different reasons, obviously. I love all the Barbie memes where it's just, you know, like random, like dirty, like tough guy, and it's like 2 tickets to Barbie, please. This is one of my favorite memes. It's pretty great.
The Reservoir.
But I'm really stoked for that. There's a lot to be stoked for. Like even this month, that Renfield movie comes out, which looks ridiculous and fun as hell. Evil Dead Rises comes out. I'm like behind on the last few weeks of movies. Like Dungeons and Dragons came out, which I haven't seen. Super Mario Brothers came out, which I haven't seen.
Same.
I feel like there was another one too. Oh, Air just came out, which I think Sam and I are trying to see this week.
Oh, shit.
4 or 5.
Yeah. Gotta see that one too. What about you guys? What are you guys stoked for?
Did you? I mean, it seems like a cop out, but you literally just listed everything that I'm wanting to watch that I have on my on my calendar. Yeah, I'm really stoked for Air, just because like I grew up just such a huge Michael Jordan fan, and then the way that all this marketing was put out, like 4 or 5, 23, you know, like all this stuff, like when that clicked, I was like, what the, you know, and I'm an Affleck fan, you know.
Me too.
I like it.
Dude, he's good, man. He's
good.
a good director, good actor.
I'm really excited for The Flash.
Yeah.
Too. The Flash and what they're gonna do with that whole like DC universe, and how they're gonna, you know, whatever James Gunn is gonna do. And we talked about it on your show. Blue Beetle looks awesome.
Looks fun.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
Guardians,
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
that's what I say. I'm very excited, but I'm very nervous about Guardians. I feel like
I can't bait against James
Gunn.
Gunn.
Easily just destroy me.
Oh, it's gonna destroy us,
especially on his way out too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could see him. I mean, just this is the same guy. Granted, completely different type of movie, but like one of the greatest intros is Suicide Squad, the one he did, where it's like
So
they
good.
introduce you to the cast and all the members involved, and they just get taken out. Oh, that was amazing. So I just knowing that this is probably his. I mean, it's his last. It's gonna be his last Marvel movie, I'd imagine.
Right.
Um, which makes me excited but nervous because like he could kill off pretty much whoever he wants. I guess you know.
It's his
Yeah.
word now.
I'm not ready for that movie,
So-
but I'm ready for that movie. It's so soon.
Yeah,
It's in less than a
same.
month.
Is it?
Yeah, it's March 5th or something. Or May 5th. May 5th.
Oh my gosh! Hey,
Yeah. Very
Simple
soon.
man, you-
Get ready for an emotional roller coaster.
Oh man. So yeah, I think pretty much what you listed. I want actually I don't know. I was gonna say I want the Flash to do really well, but then again that doesn't really tie anymore to it, or does it tie into what James Gunn's doing, as he said? Anything about the movie?
It seems like it's going to be the big reset that kind of changes certain things and keeps things the same. I think the ending of that
Okay.
movie and possibly after credit scenes are going to be very telling for what the future holds. I think we'll see in June for sure, obviously, but I think it's going to play a major factor in the kind of changing of the guard to what's coming next. And that's kind of what I theorized, and he kind of confirmed that when he did his big announcement of like the Gods and Monsters stuff and all the stuff that's new that's coming.
Mhm.
So I think it is going to play like a very big role in it. And I know it's hard. It's like super confusing because you're like, what's going to be included? What's not going to be included? And it's hard to tell now. You know, we don't really know, but I trust what he's going to do with things because I'm just a big James Gunn fan in general. And I think like the biggest thing is it's kind of like Dave Filoni with Star Wars. Like he loves this shit. And if anyone is going to kill it, it's someone who loves this stuff. And even the stuff he announced, it's like super shit that I've never heard of, you know, like never even heard of. Not even like I know that, but I do not know anything about it. Like there was like I've never heard of the Authority, and I was like, what the fuck is that? But you know, James Gunn's the king of taking things that no one knows about and making it the best thing ever. So I'm more stoked that he announced a ton of shit like that, you know, like he did with the Guardians, even with the Suicide Squad. That was kind of, you know, the first movie was whatever. And then he brought in all these crazy characters, and then he made me care about Peacemaker in his show. Like,
yeah, I still think Peacemaker was one of the best shows I saw last year.
Yeah, I agree. And I usually don't have like as much of like a comic book guy that I am. Most of the times those don't make my like top 10 lists. Maybe like one or two.
Yeah.
But they're not like dominated by comic book stuff or like Star Wars stuff. Last year I think I had like Andor and Peacemaker and The Boys in convo for like favorite TV shows. But like that's it. You know, like none of the Marvel shows really made it to like my favorites and stuff. So it's, you know, if that shit makes it there for me, that means it's like really good shit. So
yeah, for sure.
Dude, we I think I watched the episode with Mike, and I don't think we ever skipped the intro for Peacemaker.
Dude,
Yeah,
the best.
That Peacemaker intro is incredible.
And then the dance, the choreograph. Yeah.
So to exit out of here and to end off on this, what we'll kind of end on this question: what's next for you musically? Because I know now that you're back, now that you're back in it, like you can't. It's hard to walk away. So what's on the docket?
Yeah, Career Mode's got some shows booked throughout the summer, which is exciting. We have a show in Buffalo at the end of the month, which is cool. And then we got some stuff in May and July that hasn't been announced yet, but it's all upstate New York stuff. So if you have any listeners in upstate New York, you can come see my sick emo cover band that plays all the fucking hits. It's super sick. So you think of emo night, we just play all the songs live. It's really, really cool. I have a lot of fun doing that. So I got that. Now that GhostxShip played a show, we're like down to do stuff. So we're going to play some shows. I don't think we really have anything locked in, but we're all stoked to kind of reconnected and going to see what happens. I don't know. We might write new music. We'll see.
Cool.
Sick.
And then maybe if
Oh,
NBR
that's
does
exciting.
stuff, you can see me playing with them. Maybe.
Dude,
Yeah.
you killed it. You killed it for this run.
Thank
man.
you.
I was super stoked on seeing you up there. I'm not even in the band, but
Yeah.
you know, like I was pumped on it.
Mike
yeah.
Mike can speak to this. When we were doing walking in Vegas, getting our pizza, Martin made it a point to be like, dude, Sean fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Sean
Damn.
fucking killed it.
And actually that conversation happened twice because it happened while we were getting pizza, you know, with Tron and Josh and everybody. And then when we were getting burgers on the way home too.
Oh yeah,
the conversation
that's right.
came back up and we're like, yeah, Sean fucking ripped it. And I, like, not only did you rip it, like, you're so fun to be around, like so fun to hang out with. I was like, I fucking miss these guys already. Like both you and Sam were like, fuck,
other side of the country.
just come back. So
Well, there's
I know. I wish I was
things-
closer.
yeah.
there's
Everybody's
things-
plotting.
Things in the work. Things coming. Things coming.
Yeah, you might see me with NBR again.
Yeah. Yeah. Soon. Soon.
That's sick that Martin said that of
Right.
all people. I know he can be. You guys, when you guys had him on, of how I remember you guys talking about it on the show about how he can be like indirectly harsh, or I remember the way you guys worded it.
Oh,
Where like he can
Or
be like
directly.
the
No,
most like
he's just direct. He can be
Yeah,
direct
very
about
direct.
stuff. There's no mysteries. No mysteries with Martin.
Martin has hurt my feelings on so many levels. It just, you know, it's all love.
Yeah. But at least, I mean, you always know where you stand, and
Yeah.
and you always know that it's coming from a nice place. It's just not coming out nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't always come out nice. Sometimes it does.
I'll say I know Martin doesn't fuck with me because I'm a great musician. We're just genuinely friends.
It's fair. No.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, dude, man, thanks for jumping on
Yeah.
with us, and
You want
And,
to plug the socials? You want to
yeah.
plug the podcast and everything?
Oh yeah. Well, thank you
Plug
guys
it
for
all.
having me on this. I'm honored to have been on your guys, and honored to have you guys on mine. Seriously, it's been very sick. Best way you can just search Metalcore Nerds wherever you find podcasts, or you can go to metalcorenerds.com. All of our links there, all of our socials, everything is at Metalcore Nerds. It's super easy to find if you search it. Very easy. So if you want to find it, you want to hear a bunch of band people talk nerd shit, that's the place to go, the place to be. And you can hear me talk mostly positive about a lot of shit. It's fun. It's a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sick. Personal pages, anything like that?
Yeah, you can just Instagram and Twitter at Sean Mott if you want to follow me on there. It's a lot of me reposting Metalcore Nerd stuff. But on Instagram, now that I'm playing music, I've been posting a lot of that stuff. So I guess you can see that stuff too if you follow me on Instagram at least.
Sick.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get back on it this week, Mike. I'm sorry. I've been so bad.
Yeah, I felt so bad because like the episode with Damien from Proposal came out, and I was like, "Hey, Mike, have we done clips or have we, like plug this?" And he's like, "Dude, no, I haven't." But that episode's doing really,
It's doing really well. Maybe we're hurting it by promoting.
yeah, it's doing
Maybe
really well.
maybe our promo hurts it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, So for us, for the most unprofessional podcast on the internet, follow at Walking Blind Pod everywhere. WalkingBlindPod@gmail.com if you guys want to shoot us a message. You can also shoot a message through the website, WalkingBlindPod.com.
Also through walkingblindpod.com, we have a resource page that we're going to be doing, and from now
we did it, Mike.
we did it. Sorry, not that we going. Yeah, sorry. It's out. It's available. Every show that No Bragging Rights is going to play will have resources connected 30 to 50 miles from each venue we play. And for ones that don't, it'll at least have it'll have helpline phone numbers or emails or something. We'll link to it. So check it out in our resources section of walkingblindpod.com.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you know this, Walking Blind podcast now also works as well.
Really?
WalkingBlindPodcast.com.
Ooh,
Boys buying up the URLs.
Respect.
Oh yeah.
Dude, well, thank you so much, man. We love you. We miss you. We wish you were here.
Me too.
Yeah,
We're gonna see you soon.
we're gonna see you soon.
Okay.
1000%.
Soon.
Soon.
Sick.
Yeah, soon. Who knows? We might even announce how soon we'll see you.
Oh man.
Love you, man. Thank you for
Love
doing
you,
this.
dude.